Hello, this is Jack from Fluency.com. Welcome to this lesson where I'm going to give you some phrases that will help you talk about the future. Or more specifically, thinking about the future and predicting what is going to happen. So we're going to talk about things like self-driving cars and also the phrases that you can use in order to express yourself and give your own opinions about what you think is going to or what you think will happen in the future. And I'm taking these phrases from a conversation my wife and I had where we talked about our thoughts on what we think is going to happen in the future and just for us to make some predictions. So that is the first point, is that we use will or going to talk about future predictions. By 2050, I think there will be, or by 2050, I think there are going to be. So we can use both forms here. And that's the first one I want to share with you. I think we'll be able to. I think we'll be able to. So you can see here we're using be able to. And I want to give you an example using a similar phrase in the present tense and then also one in the future. So at the moment, we can't fly, or we don't have anything so that we can fly. In the future, I think we'll be able to fly. Now, I'm not sure if I actually think this, but it's just an example. So we can use can in the present, but then we need to use something else for the future when we use these modal verbs. So will be able to. I think we'll be able to. So, quick question. Do you think we will be able to fly by 2060? And what I mean by this is, as individuals, we'll be able to wear something, and this will be a normal mode of transport. This next one has two key things about it. Having children makes you think more about the future. Having children makes you think more about the future. The first part, having children, is showing that we can use this gerund phrase as a subject or as the subject. Having children. We're using it as the subject. So having children makes you think more. Makes you think. We're getting into verb patterns here. Verb patterns. And make has quite a unique pattern. It can also be used similarly with let. So make you think. We don't say make you to think or make you thinking, but simply makes you think. A very common phrase here is when somebody says, you make me laugh. You really make me laugh. Or you're making me angry. You are making me angry. The next one is a good example of what you might hear in an interview. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? So it's asking, what do you think you're going to be doing in 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And again, this is a very common question, or at least it used to be a common question in a job interview. And usually they'll ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I'm not sure about the best way to answer this question, but maybe you can talk about how it relates to the company that you are applying for. Now, again, we used all these phrases in the conversation that we had, so definitely go check that out after you've watched this lesson. The next one, self-driving cars are inevitable. Self-driving cars are inevitable. So a self-driving car is becoming a lot more popular, and people think that this is actually going to happen now. And this is where the car drives itself. So it doesn't need a driver. Instead, it uses technology and GPS so that it can navigate through the streets in cities. And I said this because I think it is going to happen. And I base part of this off an article that Seth Godin wrote. And I recommend that you read this article. It's titled The Self-Driving Reset of Just About Everything in Our Cities. And it just talks about how self-driving cars are going to change our cities in general. It's going to have a huge impact on cities. And he talks about how there aren't going to be any traffic lights, pedestrians are safer, there won't be any parking issues. I'll link to the article in the description, and I recommend that you subscribe to his blog because he writes in very simple English, which is very effective at the same time. Now, after we spoke about self-driving cars, I said to Kate, it's going to be cheaper. And she said, how's it going to be cheaper? How's it going to be cheaper? So she is using going to, but with the relaxed pronunciation of gonna, which is very common. Gonna, wanna, shoulda, oughta, don't you? In fact, I have a full lesson on this inside the Fluency program. So check that out in the description below. But how's it gonna be cheaper? You're gonna hear this a lot in spoken English. Words like gonna, wanna, oughta, shoulda, coulda, woulda. So it's a good idea to learn these, especially if you are going to be speaking to people who use this type of English, which is so common in everyday English now. So you're going to hear this on TV shows and in movies. It depends on you if you want to use these kind of contractions and this relaxed way of speaking. But definitely learn this, practice how to say it so that you can more easily understand when people use these types of words. Flying cars seem a long way off. Flying cars seem a long way off. So this just means that, in my opinion, or Kate's opinion, I can't remember who said this, but that flying cars aren't going to happen anytime soon. It seems like this is going to be in the far distant future. And I think a lot of people who made predictions years ago, in the last century, in the 1950s, 60s and 70s, a lot of predictions said that we're going to see flying cars in cities. But it still seems like that's not going to happen in the near future, unless I'm wrong. Do you have any evidence for this? Have you seen any prototypes or flying cars anywhere? Please let me know in the comments below. But I think this is quite true. Flying cars seem a long way off. The next one, using renewable resources will be better for everyone. So again, we're using this gerund as the subject. Using renewable resources will be better for everyone. Now, a renewable resource is one in which you can use time and time again. Things like solar, wind, and wave. So you're using the natural resources in order to generate electricity. Non-renewable is something that is finite, something that is going to run out. We don't know when, but there's only so much oil that we can use. It's finite. It's going to run out at a certain point in the future. Okay, so those are some great phrases that you can use to talk about the future. And obviously there are different topics that we are talking about here. I think a lot of the time when we talk about the future, we do think about cities. We think about transport. Those are some of the things that come to mind. We also talked about whether we are an optimistic or pessimistic about the future. Like I said, go watch that whole conversation. And now that you have these phrases, you'll be able to understand. You'll be able to understand our conversation a little bit better. Now, if you want to get some premium phrases with this and to download audio and memory cards, and also to get the different tutorials that I talked about before, then join the Fluency program. There'll be a link at the end of this video so you can go and check that out. Now, if you have enjoyed this lesson, then please like and share it. And while you're here, take a look around. Take a look around the channel to see other videos that we have made. Okay, thanks again for watching. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.